Hello everybody, today I will be showing some doors using some T flip-flop switches. So, here's the first door that we have. It's just a very simple door. It opens and closes using the buttons. It has a T flip-flop. It is a 1x2 and it's not completely flush with the walls, so not going to be a hidden door if you want this, but just kind of a simple piston door. So, there's just two pistons, push in and out. They're both sticky pistons. Could make this with regular pistons, but then again you'd use a lot more pistons than you actually want to use. And T flip-flop switch, the input connects to over here. It also goes all the way under here. There's a repeater there, and a repeater here, pointing away or towards the T flip-flop, and then to the button over here. Okay, now here we have the second design. This is a 2x2, so this one isn't flush either, but that will be coming soon, right over there. And this is pretty simple design too. You have to use sticky pistons for this one. Kind of just the same idea, except for right here, you just have to do a little bit, use a little bit more repeaters, and that will make sure that these two redstone lines won't connect and then mess everything up. So, here it is. You just click the button, go through, and if you want to go back around, just click this one, and you reopen it, and then you can go back through again. And finally, for the simple doors, we have a not 3x3, but a 2x2 that is completely flush. So, if you wanted these to blend in, what you could have is you could have stone under these pressure plates, or you could just have a button or random pressure plates anywhere. So I go through here, and the door opens, and then I can close it by just keeping walking. And this will close right behind me. Now, the only problem with this is that I built it with using two T flip-flop switches. So, say I were to go around to this side now without touching the pressure plate over there. Now, it's not going to work because now I have both T flip-flop switches on, and they're trying to make the door stay closed. But if I press it again, you'll hear the T flip-flop switch go back to what it's supposed to be. Then that will reset it so that we can come back over here and go through. So this design might be useful for just single-player worlds, because if you want multiple people going through the door at the same time without going out, it's gonna get all bugged up and kind of messed up. And one thing to keep in mind, this only works in the snapshots, or 1.8. I think it's because of the way I just used the repeaters. So if it's not working for you and you're using 1.7.4 or an earlier version, you can just make whichever ones go longer or shorter depending on what you find is messed up, and you can experiment with it. Okay, so now let's begin with the building. So first I'm going to do the 1x2 door. And this one is kind of for the people who are short on supplies or just want a 1x1 walkway. Or a long by one walkway, or yeah. So first things you'll need just some regular building blocks. For some of them you'll need ones that can be pushed by pistons. They don't all need to be able to be pushed by pistons, but for 3 blocks out of all the ones that you're going to use, they need to be pushable. Need a few redstone repeaters, probably just about 3 or 4, depending on how long or how wide you want your door to be. You need a little bit of redstone and a couple redstone torches just for the T flip-flop switches, and sticky pistons. Now, you'll need 4 pistons in total. 2 will have to be sticky pistons. You can use 2 regular pistons for the T flip-flop switch if you don't want to use sticky pistons, or you're just short on supplies like slime balls. So now first what you're going to want to do is you want to build your pathway. So I'm just going to build a really simple pathway, nothing too fancy, just some wool. So then you want to either go in 1 block or just put some pistons anywhere. I'm going to make them right at the doorway. So you have your pathway right here. You need to go over 1 block this way, or 1 block either way, and place a piston facing inward. And do the same on the other side. place another piston on top of that, and make sure that doesn't happen. And so there you have your beginning of the... okay. So first what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to build a pathway. This can be made out of blocks that are not able to be moved by pistons, but I'm just making them out of some wool because, well, it's pretty easy to use and there's nothing special that's going on with it, except for that it's flammable. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your pistons. These do have to be sticky pistons unless you want to put pistons on the other side, and use redstone to make it so that it like pushes the door different directions and then retracts, but that's a bit more complicated than it needs to be. So what you're going to do is go out on one side. It does not matter which side you go out on, but this will just set it where your T flip-flop switch should be, or can be, for using the least redstone. So I'm going to go over one block, and then on the third block over from the middle, or second block depending on which way you count it, I want to place two pistons that are facing in. So that's the main part of your door. And just place some blocks that are in front of it that can be pushed by a piston. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is place one block, actually two blocks, right behind this piston right over here, and place a repeater on top of that. Now this will activate both of the pistons when the repeater is activated, and yes, it should work right there. So then put a redstone signal down, and create your T flip-flop switch. So what you're going to want this as is you're going to want this as the output. So if you remember from my last video, what you do is put redstone torches in the bottom, put two pistons right here. These do not have to be sticky pistons like I've said before. Whoops. Place some wool on top of it, and just like that, and place one wool block inside. So that just activated it because this block is now being activated by redstone, which transfers over to this line redstone, which activates the door. And yes, this does activate both pistons, even though it only looks like it goes to one. So then you got to put some redstone torches on either side, and a little bit of redstone on top. So that creates your input right there. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take redstone and put it somewhere that's going to go against the wall eventually. I'm just going to put it really close like this, and if you want the button at eye level, place a block there, and have the redstone go up like that. If you have it way over here, like more than 12 blocks or so, then what you're going to want to do is, right after the button, you're going to want to place a repeater, and then have your redstone signal, or you don't even need to place a repeater. Just have your redstone signal go, and then place a repeater somewhere in the middle. But I'm not going to do that because I just like everything really compact. So I have this redstone going right here, place a button right there, and the door should open. Now there's no way to get back in, so that's what we're going to need to build next. So for that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your redstone signal and have it go underneath the door. So this is fine if you can see up right there. That's because you're 2 blocks tall and you just need it to be 1. So I'm going to drag my redstone signal all the way down there, and what you're going to want to do is place a repeater somewhere in the middle so that it's pushing, or pointing in this case, towards the other redstone signal. Or you're going to want to place it so that it's pointing towards the T flip-flop switch. So now, once you have your doorway right here, rest of it, you can bring your redstone signal all the way over, and then if you want the button at eye level again, place a block, put the redstone right there. And I think this is going to be too long, so I'm going to move my redstone repeater over there. this button right in front of your redstone signal, and this should close the door now. Or open it. And I forgot to cover this up. Probably want to do that because if you fall down here and you have no blocks, then you have to break the redstone to get out, and then it just becomes kind of a hassle and too much work, unless you want to make a trap. So now, next what we are going to be doing is we're going to be building a 2x2, not flush, but getting there, redstone door. So this is going to require the same amount of materials, not the same amount, but about the same types of materials. Just you're going to need a bit more of each thing, except for buttons, you need the same amount. So what you're going to do, if you want your walkway to be the same size as your door, make a walkway that's too wide and however long you want it to be. This isn't going to be how long it is going to be in the future, but, you know, that's okay. So now what you're going to want to do is do the exact same thing that you did for the 1x1 door, but you're going to do it on both sides. And this is the door in the open position. And so then I'm just going to keep doing the exact same thing that you did for 2x1 or 1x2 or whatever. And bring this all the way around to the other side. So I'm just going to go under. You can go up top. That's okay too. I just prefer going under because I think it's, I don't know, it's a little bit faster, a little bit less bulky, but if you just don't want to mine out stuff, you can bring it up top. So there you have it, and place a redstone repeater in right there. Actually, you're going to want this facing the other direction, because you want it pointing towards the pistons over there. And now, because I like to have my doors open, not just one at a time, but I like them both opening at the same time, I'm going to make this a delay of 2, because we have a delay of 1 over there, right here, and a delay of 1 right here, so that's 2, and this one's 2, so now they should both open at the same time. Now, cover this up, and then start building your T flip-flop switch. So, same thing as last time, you want your redstone torches inside, output right there, along with your pistons, some redstone some wool or just a building material on the top, redstone on top of that, and 1 redstone torch on the other side, and a block right there so I can go to your input. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my button over here, because there's not too much space over here and I don't want to bring it all the way around like so and then have it come over here, although you can do that because that actually will make it a little bit easier. So you don't want those two connecting, so I'm going to create my front wall right here so I get an idea of where we're going to place our buttons. Whoops. And then have this go right there. So now this doesn't have to be pointing into the wall, it can just be pointing to an open space, but the button has to be right in front of it, as always. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, except for on the other side, actually in the inside, is going to place a button somewhere in the general direction, like so, and then have the output connect to that, which I think is correct. Yes, that is. Then, actually the input, which should connect to that, and then have the input connect to this one too. So there is a 2x2 redstone door. Piston door. Well, when I was reviewing the footage, I realized that I actually didn't have enough time to show this, which is the flush piston door that I have talked about in earlier episodes. I actually built a whole model of it, and recorded it, but realized that it was taking way too long and messed up a couple times. Yeah. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a walk around of the entire structure, and if you can pause the video, check out what I did, barrier blocks, and yeah.